Hi, I'm David Esrati. I'm running for Congress in Ohio 10. That's the district that is newly redrawn to include Columbus, Montgomery County, Greene County, and part of Clark County. The reason I'm saying Columbus is because Columbus is where they're screwing things up, and we're going to have a second primary in the fall because um, our legislators couldn't get it together in time, and that'll be for state rep and state senate. So some people are confused. I hope you're not. But today's topic is something I sent out an email about today to those on my email list, and it's about using fear as a motivator in political advertising. And it's not just like a little fear, it's like all day fear. So I get emails from all kinds of campaigns and wanting me to donate money, and they're like telling me, oh, if you don't give us this, buy that, something bad will happen. And today, people's email boxes were full about Roe V Wade, which is already, toast. So I don't know that giving money to one candidate or another, especially the candidate that was asking, is going to do anything at all. We've got bigger problems to cause that. But the idea of using fear as a motivator from an ad standpoint is pretty heinous. I've been in this business a long time, and there are 7 triggers that you can use, but fear is one that I would not recommend. So it's been done in political advertising for quite a while, and it really, we're talking in the modern era, television's been a big part of it. You can remember things like Willie Horton, the Swift Boat ads, Hillary's 3 a.m. ad, and all of them are basically the same as, and I'm checking here, are you ready? Not yet. Okay. I'm going to show you the ad that started it all, the Ultimate Fear ad. By the way, I've got an ice pack on here under my jacket because I had PT today. So, very sore shoulder still. But I sent out an email with a headline that's actually kind of famous from an old National Lampoon cover of 1973. Showed a picture of a nice spaniel sitting there all happy with a pistol held to its head, and it said, buy this magazine or we'll shoot the dog. Really? No, it was a joke. It's National Lampoon. But there was a frenzy of people buying up the magazine to keep that poor dog alive. The guy who designed that cover later went on to design the Ghostbusters logo, which has been called one of the greatest logos of all time. I'm not quite sure I'm there yet, but it's up there. It's very recognizable, very well known. But buy this magazine or shoot the dog is the same sort of horrific extrapolation of an idea and trying to get somebody to act. I'd rather politics were about things like, I'm going to try to make sure that your taxes are easier to prepare, that your taxes aren't wasted, that we don't put so many people in prison for stupid stuff and we put people in prison who do really bad things like screw up Wall Street and walk away from it unscathed. So again, I am anti fear for a message. But that ad, here's the strange thing, that National Lampoon cover, sad story, strange story. A couple years later, somebody went out and shot the dog. Yeah. How sick is that? That was in 1973. It's gotten way worse now. Anthony Gonzalez, who was a representative from northeastern Ohio, said he wouldn't run again after voting to impeach Trump. Why? Because his family was threatened. We talked about this yesterday. We need to get a more civil society. And I'm still waiting to see if we can run this ad yet, and so far, no. Anyways, if you've got any comments or questions or you want to say hello, just feel free to text in and ask your questions. So, the ad I want to show you was powerful and is really, really well known amongst those of my generation and older. Young people wouldn't know anything about it. And it wasn't a particularly great ad or phenomenal ad, but it was one that scared the living bejesus out of people. And I'm still not getting a sign that we can play this ad for you. So, moving forward, the purpose of all these emails, why people are sending emails to you on and on and on, is one reason and one reason only. It's to get you to give them money. It's not to inform you. It's not to educate you. It's not to talk about issues. It's send money. And it takes an awful lot of money to run for political office in this country. That in itself is a problem and is wrong. We have to stop Citizens United and start having donor registration where we know exactly who's giving money, how much, and to which candidates. That is a major part of my platform. That way, we can get at least a handle on who owns the people that you put in power. The next step would be a voter information system that tells you all the offices, what they can do, what they can't do, how long the office, the requirements for running for office, how long you stay in office, process for removal from office. All those things would be very helpful, as well as how you voted on every issue. We need to make educated voters our #1 priority in this country, so we can stop having to spend $15 billion to try to manipulate you into voting for the red team or the blue team instead of for the red, white, and blue team. That is an important issue that we need to address. And I'm guessing it ain't going to happen. So the ad you want to go look at shows a young girl pulling flower petals off a daisy. It's in black and white. And she's counting up to 10, and she can't quite get it right. She does 6 twice. And anyway, she gets to 10, and then the countdown starts from 1 to 10, or from 10 to 1, with a voice from Mission Control, and then you see a nuclear explosion. Never mind, it was one of our nuclear explosions, one of the open-air tests we did here in this country, and that you should vote for LBJ because he's going to make sure that either we survive or we're all going to die. Not exactly a positive message. I put a link to it in the comments below, and I highly recommend you click over there to look at it. Sorry we couldn't get the tech going. We'll have this stuff working by next week, I promise. So, again, I sent this email out, and I didn't talk about Roe v. Wade. Why? Because as a congressman, unfortunately, it's hard to overturn what happens in the Supreme Court. The problem is that they allowed people to go on the Supreme Court who lied, who said that it was decided law when they were being interviewed, and that the court got stacked because Republicans in the Senate pretended there was some sort of rule about not putting anybody up there for a year in the year of an election, and then they did it with Amy Coney Barrett. If we didn't have that situation, we wouldn't be seeing the overturn of Roe v. Wade. We wouldn't be seeing the insane overruling of New York's gun laws by the Supreme Court, basically saying states have no rights to regulate, while on the other hand saying states have the right to regulate everything on abortion. We have a court that is psychotic and trying to put us into a civil war. The question of whether Justice Thomas should still be on the court after his wife was involved in seditious activities on January 6th needs to be answered. We have real problems in this country caused by divisiveness. There's only one way to solve that, and that's to change the people that we have in office, especially the ones who had 2 opportunities to impeach Donald Trump and didn't. We already have Mike Turner on record saying Donald Trump never should have been president before the election when he was still backing John Kasich. But we don't have him actually saying he supports Donald Trump. So we have to look at his actions versus his words. And his actions were very clear. He refused to do his duty. He refused to uphold the oath he took of office to represent and protect this country and its Constitution. It's time to send Mike Turner packing. It's time for representation that listens to you, talks to you, and does this every day and will continue to do it once elected. Imagine that. A congressman that tells you what he did every single day and asks for your input. I'm going to make this short. I'm going to sign off. My name is David Esrati. I'm running for Congress. The election is November 8th. Yes, there's a primary in between now and then. Make sure you go out and vote. That'll be a time that a lot of people will be handing out materials, trying to get you to think about the upcoming other elections. But here's the thing. Now more than ever, your vote is important. Okay? So start doing your research, do your homework, support who you can, support who you want to. I hope it's me. But let's turn out. Let's show the politicians that we care about how our country is managed and what direction it takes. So that's your goal. Make sure you're registered to vote in the current place. You can update it at Ohio Secretary of State site if you've moved since the last election. If you aren't registered, you can go to any library or any school and find the forms and turn them in. But get registered to vote. Plan on voting on in May. I can't even remember the day. I think it's the 4th. I could be wrong. Or excuse me, in August. I think it's 4th. Or the next, and then in November when we have the election for Congress, and we'll see what happens. You can find out more about my campaign at electesrati.com. You can donate there at electesrati.com/donate. You can request a volunteer on the site. You can sign up for my newsletter. I really appreciate you watching, and thank you so much. I don't see any questions, so we're done for the day. Thank you. Have a great weekend.